Hey everyone, this is Jutika and welcome to your 5th HTML5 tutorial. If you have seen my earlier videos in this HTML5 series, then you now know the basics of writing an HTML element and also about creating a starter HTML template. So today we are going to expand that knowledge and learn a little bit more about elements and things like attributes and semantic elements, which I mentioned in my previous videos. We shall also learn about block level and inline elements, which is nothing but a way that certain elements are displayed on the browser, and it is important to have a knowledge about them if we want our web pages to look a certain way. Now, believe it or not, after watching all the previous videos in this HTML5 series, including this tutorial, once you master the basic idea of using tags and attributes, you will know everything you need to start using any HTML tag. But it is important that you do more than just listen to these videos. You need to practice and fail in order to learn. So let's start by talking about attributes. In the previous videos, you all saw this example, and if you remember, we talked about all these extra things other than the tag name inside the angle brackets. So these are nothing but the attributes of that element. So what they do is that they provide some additional information about the HTML elements. All HTML elements can have attributes and they are always specified in the start tag of the element. They usually come in name and value pairs like this. Name is equal to value. For example, here in the anchor tag, href is the name of the attribute and this URL is the value of that attribute. It's always a good idea to place your value in quotes. Let me show you an example of what happens if you miss the quotes. So sometimes there will not be any problems if you miss the quotes, like in this example. I have not put the quotes for this URL and this title value here. Now what this title attribute does is that if you hover over the element in the browser, then a small tooltip will pop over to let us know more about that element. So as you can see, this YouTube tooltip is popping up here when I hover over this link. So great, that worked well, as that's what our title said in the code, YouTube. Even the link is working and directing me to YouTube when I click on it. But now have a look at this example. Even here I don't have quotes for my href value and the title value. The only difference in these two examples is that I now have two words in the title, Visit YouTube, with a space between them. So let's see what happens here in the browser. Now can you see when I hover over the tooltip, it is showing only one word, Visit, instead of two, Visit YouTube. So that's an issue. Let us see if it is corrected by putting quotes around it. Save it, refresh the page, and let's hover over the link now. There you go, both the words are seen now. So yeah, always use quotes for all your attribute values. In fact, in Sublime, if you just write the attribute name in an element, let me write a class attribute here, and press the tab key, it auto-completes like this with an empty value in quotes. So this is a nice shortcut that you can use and not forget the quotes. I've put a link to this code in the description below so you can try this example for yourselves. Now most developers use double quotes for the values, but you can use single quotes too. And in some cases, like you see in this example, if the word itself in the value has double quotes, then you have to use single quotes for the attribute value. Another thing to know about attributes is that one element can have multiple attributes. Here's an example of one image tag with multiple attributes. I have the image tag followed by source, cake.jpg, the alternative text, which is info for the screen readers and broken links. There is this title attribute, and then I also have a class attribute about which we will learn a little bit later. And I will be making a separate video to explain the image tag in detail, so for now just focus on the attributes part. Also, as you learn more and more tags, you're gonna learn that some of them have to be written with their specific attributes. It makes no sense for an image to also include some sort of href. It makes no sense for a link to include other attributes. But there are some attributes that apply to many of the tags, and some like class and ID can be used in any HTML element. So I just wanted to mention these examples to you quickly, and we'll come back to them later as we learn about more elements. If you want to see a list of all the HTML attributes, then I have put a link of this list in the description below. Now let's talk about the most commonly used HTML element, that is the div element. It is used as a generic section to group together related content. Earlier, divs used to be the most popular tag. You would use the div for everything. And these divs almost always had some sort of special class or ID associated with them. So for instance, one div might have the class of a header, another the footer, another the navigation bar. But the problem with divs is that there's really no meaning behind it. If you put a lot of them in your page, then you're not giving your users any extra information to let them know that this is a footer or a header or something along those lines. So, as I mentioned in my previous videos, HTML5 solved this problem by introducing a lot of semantic elements. Semantic elements means elements with a meaning. A semantic element clearly describes its meaning to both the browser and the developer. Now the thing I want you to understand about some of these semantic elements, for example the header tag, is that there is no special formatting or anything along that line. A header and a div will look identical when you see them in the browser, and you won't know the difference between the both. But for people who are using screen readers or other assistive devices, this is a great way for them to find what they are looking for if they are not using visual clues. Other developers will also find it easier to read through your code if you organize it in meaningful sections. And that's really what you want to do. You want to make your page the most accessible to as many people as possible. So the important thing to remember here is that if you are developing your page and you find yourself using a lot of divs, then you are going astray. You want to use the best tag available that will give the most meaning to the users. Here are some examples of non-semantic and semantic elements. For example, div and span are non-semantic and tell nothing about their content, whereas semantic elements like form, table, article clearly define what type of content goes in them. Now the other thing that I want to talk about before we start learning about all the elements that go in the body tag is the display value of elements. Every HTML element has a default display value depending on what type of element it is. These two display values are block and inline. And it may not seem important now, but it's the kind of thing that's going to make it much easier for you when you are trying to build the layout of your page. A block level element always starts on a new line and takes up the full width available. An inline element does not start on a new line and it takes up only as much width as necessary. Let me show you some examples of this. So I have put a header and a paragraph here in the code and given it some color just so that you will understand exactly how much space each element occupies. And if you see in the browser, even though the header doesn't have much content in it, it occupies this entire space on this line. Now the same thing goes with the P element or the paragraph. It has stretched out as far as it can here. But if you have a look at this anchor element or the link and the image element over here, you can see that they occupy only as much space as their content and they have displayed here next to each other. And just to show you another example of this concept, I have again put a paragraph after the image. And as you can see, it has moved to the next line even though there is some empty space after the image. So this happened because the paragraph and header both are block level elements. And by block level we mean They stretch out to the left and right as far as they can. And the anchor and image elements are inline elements and take up only as much space as the size of their contents. Also, another interesting thing to note here is that you can put inline elements inside block elements as is seen in this example, where I have put a link which is an inline element inside a paragraph which is a block element. And you can see how it looks in the browser. But an inline element cannot contain a block level element. I've put a link to this code and the web page in the description, so do check it out to see how these elements are displayed. Here are some examples of block level and inline elements in HTML. So to quickly review, all HTML elements can have attributes, and attributes provide additional information about elements. They are written in name and value pairs. Semantic elements clearly describe their meaning to the browser, developer, and improve the accessibility of your site. Some examples of semantic elements are headings h1 to h6, form, and table. There are two display values for elements, block level and inline. A block level element always starts on a new line and takes up the full width available. An inline element does not start on a new line and it only takes up as much width as necessary. So guys, that was all for today. These were a few essential things that I thought you should know before we start learning all about the tags that go inside the body element. And from the next tutorial onwards, you will start creating simple web pages that you can finally start sharing with your friends and family. I'm super excited for this. Are you? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to check the links about the things I mentioned in this video in the description below. And also let me know if you have any questions. This is Jyotika signing off. Until next time, keep learning and keep coding.